But the Falcons come back, beat the Eagles 22-21, and Kirk Cousins throws for 241, 2 touchdowns. There's a couple things that stood out here. I'm going to start with Kirk Cousins. He usually doesn't do well in primetime. We know that. But you should realize this. He was 2-9 in primetime games. He's now won 3 of his last 5. And they got the ball back, and you got the feeling Philadelphia wasn't putting any pressure on him. I think he went back to pass, 31 times. They hit him twice. I don't think they sacked him. That's inexcusable. Kirk Cousins can't move. He's coming off Achilles surgery. I want to put pressure on Kirk Cousins. I want him uncomfortable. Now, as Bill Belichick said, Atlanta has a really good offensive line, so I'm going to take his word on that. You got a really good defensive line, even though you don't have Hassan Reddick anymore. You still have to put pressure on Kirk Cousins. That was really, really surprising for me. Philadelphia had their chance to blow it open. The Falcons, really good, except for when they got inside the 20-yard line, but give them credit. Drake London with an unbelievable move for that touchdown reception. So give the Falcons credit. They were resilient. They stayed in the moment there, but it came down to a big drop. Here's Jalen Hurts talking about that play.
I don't want to add any extra wood to it. We just didn't make the play in that moment, and I trust him in every moment. He's a hell of a player. He gave us a big spark in those moments, and it just wasn't for us tonight.
And I get it. You got 3 yards, but the problem is you have a good offensive line. I got Saquon Barkley. I have Jalen Hurts. Can I get 3 yards on 2 plays? Because my thought was, you just run the ball twice. You should be able to get 3 yards. Then the game is over. Now, the play, where the pass was, it was in the flat, so it's not going to be intercepted. You have to make sure you catch it, stay in bounds, get the first down. Seems pretty simple. With the game on the line, it wasn't so simple. But I'm going to go back to what Peyton and Eli and Matt Ryan said prior to the pass, prior to the play. That ball will not be in the air. So I got 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks all saying the same thing. That ball is not going to be in the air. And look, we can all look back and go, well, they should have run. In the moment, they said, do not throw the football. Here is Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach.
Are there decisions you would have done differently in hindsight?
Sure. Like anytime you go and you don't get points on a drive in the red zone, 4th and 3 in the first one, you're like, well, should I have went for that there? And, I went for a 4th and 3 after that, after the completion to Dallas that got us to 4th and 3, we got that and we got points out of that. So anytime it doesn't work out, that's why I'm sitting in this seat, the head coaching seat. Like, I got to be ready for the consequences of whether it works or whether it doesn't work.
Okay, it's 1:43 to go. Atlanta has no timeouts. If you run the ball, so now we're going to get down to a minute. Like worst case scenario, they're going to have to go 95 yards and probably have 40 seconds to go. I think that's what Eli, Peyton, and Matt Ryan were thinking. Worst case scenario, we got Kirk Cousins and the Falcons backed up on the road and no timeouts. But once again, you're not putting pressure on Kirk Cousins. He looked comfortable in the pocket, and he's got a couple of playmakers there, and it cost you dearly. The Eagles have lost 3 of their last 4 games at home. And Nick Sirianni has no margin for error. He doesn't. Like, you have a talented team. You just paid your quarterback. You traded. You paid Saquon Barkley. They're not getting fired. You're going to get fired. But in that moment, and, you take the blame. He kind of dispensed the blame to everybody. It's on the coach. Just start there. It doesn't even have to get to the players. It's on you. Now, I can blame that defense for allowing Kirk Cousins to carve you up for a game-winning score. Absolutely. But that seemed like, how is Philadelphia going to lose this game? And it was 21-15, and I thought, man, the odds makers did it again. The spread was 5.5, and I'm like, golly, they did it. Because Atlanta's not going to go down the field on Philadelphia, in prime time, with Kirk Cousins. And then they did it. Had time, got a couple of plays, and Peyton talked about it again. He said, all you need is make sure you don't have a drop on first down, get positive yards. You need one play. You need one big play. And they actually got two big plays. And they got down inside the red zone, and Drake London was awesome with that move. Awesome. And they end up with the win. Although there's a celebration penalty on Drake London after the touchdown. So then you have to kick an extra point from like 42 yards out. I'm going, oh my God. Do you imagine? They're going to end up a tie, go into overtime because too much celebrating? Yes, Pauline.
Drake London, great play, great catch. This is a guy who needed a career moment. He does this like shooting towards the crowd move. He's 4 feet from the referee. The referee could reach out and touch him. Yeah. He does it right in front of the ref's face.
Yeah. Here is the new Mr. Primetime, Kirk Cousins, after the win.
It's so important to find ways to win, and that's how you put together a great season is, when you have these games that could go either way, you find a way to have it break your way. And that's the way this league is. And so when we can find those inches, it can really change the tail of the season. So, it's cool making the long extra point. It's our defense standing up at the end, too. And I've been a part of games where you go down and score, and then you walk out of here with a loss because you missed that extra point and you go to overtime or you don't get the stop at the end. So it really does take everybody to find a way to come out of here with a win.
He needed that win. He needed it. Because I'm watching social media. Oh, they got to put Michael Penix in. Cousins struggling. And Kirk admits he's not 100%, but I didn't expect him to be 100%. But then all of a sudden, he's okay. Leads him down for the game-winning score. Yes, Seton.
It's tough, too, when you're watching Peyton, Eli, and Bill Belichick watch Kirk Cousins and be like, man, he is way too late with these throws.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. Multiple times, especially in the first half, they were like, see, man, you got to stop hitching. Throw the ball. The three of them were pretty, especially Bill and Peyton, were pretty unfiltered. And they weren't holding back when they were like, man, he is just holding onto the ball way too long. Like, throw it now. And then they'll show how long he waited after that.
Well, also, there was no pressure on him. Yeah. And I think in his mind, he's like, I do have more time. And I think, Peyton and Belichick were probably going, make it quicker. Make, these players, these receivers coming out of their break, you got to be, it's got to be a timing thing. And they were right. But I think Kirk was like, I got time back here. They're hitting me twice, no sacks. Saquon Barkley talked about letting the team down.
Dropped the ball, let my team down today. Shouldn't have put the defense in that position, make that catch, game's over. Relax, went back to my old habits, and just got to go back and get back to work.
Saquon Barkley was supposed to join us coming up in about 10 minutes, and we heard from him this morning, and I actually sent a text to the show. This might be the first time in history that somebody was supposed to join us, and I even said this yesterday, they better win because he's not going to join us or it's going to be awkward if he does. And he had a pretty good game, obviously had the big drop, but he did send me a text earlier this morning, about an hour ago, and I'll have that for you coming up. And I'll give you my thoughts on this, too, because we do this. We're booking people, and then there's a game. Todd has the tough job of doing this where you're going to try to talk to somebody even after a loss, or they did lose, are they going to still come on? So we'll have that for you coming up.